All right. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom to the nation of Israel that is scattered to the four corners of the earth. Shabbat Shalom to those that are also of the nation of Israel, and welcome to those that are grafted in from among the Gentiles to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to keep his covenant. Welcome to you also. Welcome to those that don't know anything about what I just said. But the Most High Spirit led you here, though you don't understand why he led you here. And you're listening to this video and you don't understand why you're listening to this video. But I can tell you why. Because you are tired of unrighteousness. You are tired of suffering. You are tired of unfairness and corruption on this planet. And you want to see an end to it. Greetings. Double blessings on those that work in the healthcare field. Whether you believe that the COVID is legit or not, that's your business. But there are millions of sick people from all types of diseases: cancer, diabetes, heart disease, all types of diseases. And whatever sicknesses people are suffering from, those that are the family members, those that are the sick people themselves, I tell you what, you're thankful somebody cares enough to give them comfort, to try to help them, to try to bring healing to them. Y'all very thankful about that. And so we give blessings to the people that work in the healthcare field. Whether you're helping somebody in one of these diseases, or maybe you're a nurse's aide or a home attendant that's out here trying to comfort an elderly person, double blessings on you. Blessings to those that pick up garbage. You don't ever notice the people that pick up garbage until the garbage doesn't get picked up. Then you notice it. Blessings to them. There's a lot of disease in garbage. A lot of disease in garbage. And the people that go out here to pick it up for us to keep our streets clean, keep our neighborhoods clean, double blessings on them. And then you walk into the supermarket and you expect to see food. How do you think that food gets there? How do you think it gets there? It gets there because there are people driving big trucks full of food across the country in all types of weather and delivering that food to those supermarkets. That's how it gets there. Whether it's a corner deli, whether it's a major supermarket somewhere, there are people delivering that stuff. The blessings on them. Also, blessings on those that are working in the area of trying to rescue little boys, little girls, men and women from the sex trade operations going on around the earth. This earth's condition is such. I found out just yesterday, I watched a documentary on the sex trade operations in the Philippines. And I found out just yesterday, as I watched that not all of the little boys and little girls are being snatched. Here in the United States, a lot of them are being snatched off the street. One tried to snatch my daughter a couple of years ago, and I happened to be there. But a lot of these people are so desperately poor that they're offering their own bodies, even at age 9 and 10 and 11, for men that normally mostly come from Japan and Europe to have sex with these little kids. Okay? That's what's going on. The world system is in such a state, people are suffering so badly in this system that people are desperate to just get food or just to keep a roof over their heads, which bring me to the next point. And curses on those that support this industry, these perverts that fly from all over the place to go to places like Thailand, to go to places like Bangkok, to go to places like the Philippines and the islands, to have sex with little boys and little girls. Perverts all, and may they get double cursed. Blessings on those also who work for the homeless. There are 500,000 men, women, and children on the streets of the United States right now that don't have a roof over their head, that's sleeping on benches, sleeping in parks, sleeping outside. Okay, in the United States. This is supposed to be the richest country in the planet. You have 500,000 human beings on the street. Some have tents, Some don't have anything. Blessings on the people helping those. And that's just the United States. Again, you're talking about millions of people worldwide. The other day I saw a video, 16-year-old girl in the Philippines sleeping under, you know, those giant steel garbage bins that the trucks have to pick up. Her and her 3-month-old baby sleeping there. Worldwide. You see what I'm saying? The Most High has to bring this system to a close. It's not going to get better. Greed is going to continue. And as long as there's greed and liars, these things are going to exist. Blessings on the people that are helping those that are homeless. Double blessings on them and blessings on the homeless. And may the Most High bring this system to a quick close so that these situations will never exist again. We've been studying the book of Revelation. Oh, also greetings to everybody in the chat. Blessings to you. Thank you for your prayer. Okay. We've been studying the book of Revelation. And of course, as we have been studying it now, we're in chapter 14. We're spending a little bit more time. I told you when we got done with chapter 11, right? And we were 12, 13. I told you we're going to take our time. We always take our time, but we're really going to take our time. Why? Because we are at the precipice of these events. Revelation 13 has already started. Revelation 14 has already started in the development of the 144,000. Okay? Already started. And so what the events that are left to happen, brethren, have you noticed how fast time is going by? I mean, those be honest. Now, see, again, I'm not talking to people that's coming here to try to debate and argue with me about what I'm teaching. I don't care about that. I really don't. I only care about the sincerity in my own forehead, in my own heart, that I'm bringing the truth. I don't want no money from y'all. I'm not rich. I'm in great debt, but I don't care because I don't want y'all to ever think that this ministry is about money. It's not. I cannot pay for what the Most High has given me. And I shouldn't expect anyone to pay for me to teach it. No, this is not about money. That takes half the crooks off the table right here, right? Because everybody in the religious world is looking for money. I don't want none. If they take me off of YouTube one day, the Most High's got to open another way because I won't be here because I'm not trying to get money. My channel's not monetized. I'm not trying to make money off this. You will never hear me say, please like and subscribe, because that's not that's not the thing. This has got to be by the Father's Spirit. It's got to be by him. But have you noticed? Time was already going by fast, right? But it seems to have sped up even more. Have you noticed, like, it was just a year ago that this whole COVID thing broke out? You know, it's been a year already. You understand? It's been a year already. It's like that. And you know, I'm going to tell you, these next, I told you, I watched 2020. I'm telling you, 2027, man. That's, to me, that's when the last ceiling part's going to take place of the 144,000. And I'm telling you, it's coming quick. Right after that, you're going to see the events fly by, things going to happen, and Messiah is going to come, and he's going to establish his kingdom on this earth, and we're looking forward to it. You know, they laughed at Noah, right, when he said there was going to be a flood. He said, a flood is coming to destroy the earth. It had never even rained before. It had never even rained before. And he said it's going to flood. And they laughed at him until the day the flood came and destroyed them all. Well, I'm telling you right now, the word says Messiah is going to come in the sky with thousands of saints, and he's going to take over this planet. He's going to violently overthrow the governments of this planet, and he's going to establish the kingdom here. And there'll be, look, Revelation chapter 22, which we will get to. Revelation chapter 22. Actually, yeah, Revelation chapter 22, beginning at verse 1. That's the last chapter of the Bible. Revelation chapter 22. And like I said, like I tell y'all, read your Bible. Read your King James Bible. Read it through. Read it through from cover to cover. Read it from Genesis 1:1 all the way through to Revelation 22:21. Read it all the way through. It'll take you about a year. You know, if you're dedicated to it, it'll take you about a year. It's worth the time. It's worth the time. It will change your life if you read it through. Read it through. Okay? Read it through. Revelation chapter 22, beginning at verse 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Yah and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, there was the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations, and there shall be no more curse. But the throne of Yah and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. That's what's coming. Let me show it to you again, because, you know, the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Ezekiel chapter 47. Ezekiel chapter 47. And this is news that's so good. I want to hear it, you know, so nice. We want to hear it twice. This time, Ezekiel chapter 47. That's where it originally comes from. Ezekiel chapter 47. Beginning at verse 1, Ezekiel 47. Afterward, he brought me again unto the door of the house, and behold, the waters issued out from under the threshold of the house eastward. For the front of the house stood toward the east, and the waters came down from under the right side of the house at the south side of the altar. Then brought he me out of the way of the gate northward, and led me about the way without unto the other gate by the way that looketh eastward. And behold, there ran out waters on the right side. And when the man that had the line in his hand went forth eastward, he measured 1,000 cubits, and he brought me through the waters. The waters were to the ankles. Again, he measured 1,000 and brought me through the waters. The waters were to the knees. Again, he measured 1,000 and brought me through. The waters were to the loins. Afterward, he measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not pass over, for the waters were risen, waters to swim in, a river that could not be passed over. He said unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen this? Then he brought me and caused me to return to the brink of the river. Now, when I returned, behold, at the bank of the river were very many trees on the one side and on the other. Then said he unto me, These waters issue out toward the east country, and go down into the desert, and go into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the water shall be healed. This is the river of life, and everything that it touches is healed. Isn't that beautiful? Everything that it touches is healed. Let's continue. And it shall come to pass, in verse 9, it says, It shall come to pass that everything that liveth, which moveth, whithersoever the river shall come, shall live. And there shall be a very great multitude of fish because of these waters shall come thither. For they shall be healed. Everything shall live, whether the river cometh. You know, the other day in Texas, Bakaman in Texas, just the other day, on the shoreline, the Gulf shoreline of Texas, they found 3.8 million fish that died on the shore. They washed up the shore. 3.8 million. Why? Because the waters, the sudden drop in temperature that chill brought, they weren't expecting that, and it killed them. You'll never see that again. When the rivers of the water of life come through. In fact, it's going to multitude of fish. Watch, it's going to multiply the fish. Yeah, they were all contaminated. All 3.8 million contaminated fish. And it shall come to pass that the fishes shall stand upon it from Engedi even to Engelium. They shall be a place to spread forth nets. Their fish shall be according to their kinds as the fish of the great sea, exceeding many. But the miry places and the marshes thereof shall not be healed. They shall be given to salt. So you're going to have still a little salt water in marshlands, marsh areas. But by the river, upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issue out of the sanctuary. And the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf for medicine. Could you imagine? Can you imagine fruit each month? And it's the tree of life. That's the tree of life. So every time you eat that fruit, it just adds to your eternal existence. There'll be no tree of the knowledge of good and evil, just the tree of life. And only those of us that are in the kingdom will be able to eat of that tree. See, that's why Asatan wants so bad to take the city with Gog and Magog. They just want to get a bite of this tree. Isn't that sad? It's the creator's tree. And they just want to get a bite of it so that they can continue to live forever. Isn't that the story of life on planet Earth? People trying to claim to live forever without serving the creator, who is the origin of every life, who keeps the hearts beating. People defying him, trying to worship other gods and worship man and worship self and trying to still live forever and look young forever. It's a shame, isn't it? Sad. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, this shall be the border whereby ye shall inherit the land according to the 12 tribes of Israel. See, those those of you, I don't understand. How can somebody read this Bible and not see that all of these promises are to the original Israelites? And the Gentiles that are grafted in with them are inheriting these promises. The Gentiles that surrendered to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are inheriting these promises, but the promises originally are to the 12 tribes. Those are the chosen. There's no other chosen people, okay, on the planet. And as the planet acknowledges this fact, the blessing comes on the planet. But the problem, of course, as we read Revelation 13, we know the planet does not acknowledge this fact. In fact, fights against it and them, because that's Asatan. But he's going to be destroyed. Notice, Joseph shall have two portions. Yes, Joseph has two portions, Ephraim and Manasseh. And ye shall inherit it, one as well as another, concerning the which I lifted up my hand to give it unto your fathers. And this land shall fall unto you for inheritance. And this shall be the border of the land. Now, I want you to notice, that is the Most High specifically stated, before he even talked about the 12 tribes, he specifically stated that Joseph was going to get two portions. Now, why is that? Because the firstborn son always gets the double portion of an inheritance. So if you have 4 children in the Bible, you have 4 children. The firstborn of the 4 children, the inheritance is going to be divided into 5. And the firstborn is going to get 2/5. And the other 3 is going to get 1/5. The firstborn always gets the double blessing. Somebody might ask, well, I thought Reuben was the firstborn. Reuben was the firstborn of Jacob's children, but Joseph was the firstborn of Rachel's children. Reuben was the firstborn of all his children, and Leah, but Reuben lost his birthright because Reuben slept with one of his father's women. He slept with one of his father's wives. Okay, he had sex with one of his father's wives. He lost the right of the firstborn. Okay, so now Joseph was given the right of the firstborn. That's why the brothers were jealous of him, because he was given the right of the firstborn, because he was the firstborn of Rachel. Rachel had Joseph, and then she died having his brother Benjamin. So Joseph got the double blessing. That's why he got 2 portions, Ephraim and Manasseh. And this shall be the border of the land toward the north side, from the great sea, the way of Hethlon, as men go to Zedad. Amath, Barathath, Sabaim, which is between the border of Damascus and the border of Amath. Azar, Hatikan, which is by the coast of Huran. The border from the sea, which is Hazar Enan, the border of Damascus, the north and northward, and the border of Amath. This is the north side. Watch now. And the east side this is why you got to read through all of this, that seemingly boring stuff, because there's some gems in it. And the east side ye shall measure from Oran, from Damascus, and from Gilead, from the land of Israel by Jordan, from the border unto the east sea. This is the east side. And the south side, southward, from Tamar, even into the waters of strife at Kadesh, the river to the great sea, that is the south side, southward. The west side also shall be the great sea from the border till a man come over against Amath. This is the west side. So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. Right. So this is the new Israelite nation in the kingdom. Okay. It's if you actually look at these borders, they're much more expanded than what you consider Israel today. They're much more expanded. This is a much bigger piece of property. Okay, that the Most High has given His people. But watch this for you Gentiles. Watch this. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, you Gentiles that come to this truth. And they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall he give him his inheritance. So when you are a Gentile and you come to this truth now, like you coming now to stand with, basically, I'm gonna break it down for you in the modern language. You stand with the poor black people. You stand with the poor black people. You stand with them when they saying they are the true children of Israel. You stand with them when they telling you the Messiah is a black man, and you standing for this truth. You're going to have an inheritance. You say, what tribe you're going to be in? Whichever one you want. It says, they shall have inheritance among you with the tribes of Israel, and it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance. So you say, I want to be in the tribe of Benjamin's land. I like the land where Ephraim is. I like the land where Manasseh is. Fine. Pick yours. Because you stood with us when everybody else was against us. You stood for us. You stood for the truth when everybody else was lying. Isn't that beautiful, man? Praise the Most High, man. Praise the Most High. So that's what Revelation 22 is talking about. Let's go back there for a second. Okay, Revelation chapter 22. I know we're going to study this, but like I said, good news is too good to just read once, right? You want to read it again and again and again. Revelation chapter 22. Notice, though, what it says here. From verse 6. And he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true. And the Most High of the holy prophets, holy Israelite prophets, have sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. And I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel, which showed me these things. Then saith he unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship Yah. And he said unto me, seal not the sayings of this book, for the time is at hand. What time? A time is at hand, he said. What time? Time is now. You know what time it is? Ooh, watch. He that is just, let him be unjust. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. What does that mean? That means as the 144,000 are sealed in their foreheads, they are righteous still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. He that is holy. That means that their character is fixed as a character of righteousness. All of us are born with human nature, right? All of us are born with human nature. The Bible implores us, Peter said, to be partakers of a divine nature. By the Father's Spirit of perfect righteousness, we partake of a divine nature. What does that mean? Some fool out there going to claim to be God based on what I just said, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, though, you have a spirit and character that's perfectly in line with the covenant of Yah, which is what we talk about in terms of giving him the highest level of praise. Your spirit and character is now divinely, perfectly in line with Yah's character. It would be then at that point against your nature to sin. Against your nature to sin. Once you're sealed. But at the other end of it, the people that are rejecting truth, the people that are rejecting truth, the people that are receiving lies and trying to act like they don't know when they really do know. Now I'm talking, and those know who I'm talking about. You're trying to act like you don't know, but you really do know. You're being willfully ignorant because you don't want to see the shame that comes on you. You're going to permanent. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. You're going to remain that way. That character is yours now forever. You cannot change. You'll be locked in. Okay? The righteous be locked into the spirit of righteousness, and the wicked will be locked into Satan's spirit. You know why? Because you chose it. You love life. Right now is the time of people standing for the truth. All people. We talked about this. Everybody. See? So you got people from every nation. But let's look at the Israelite nation because they are the example for all other nations. Israel is the example for all other nations. In Israel, we're taken into slavery, right? You got, and I told y'all the other night, the darker a person is, the more hated they are. I mean, y'all know I'm telling the truth, right? I mean, this is about the truth, right? The darker a person is, the darker their skin color, the more hated they are by this system, especially in the United States of America. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Okay? That's the more hated they are. Some of y'all Caucasians, oh no, I don't hate dark skinned people. Listen, man, if all y'all look alike, how are we supposed to know which one of y'all is good? Because you say so? I'm not like that, really. Your fathers came to this North American land with their hands out and their smile on their face before they killed all the Indians. So how are we supposed to know who's different among y'all? So the darker we are, though, the more we hate it, right? So I understand. One day I was in the bank. I was managing the bank for a few years. And one day some brothers came in the bank because they had just gotten their first paychecks from their job. All of them worked in this job together. I think it was a construction job. And they had just gotten their paychecks and none of them had bank accounts. And the policy of most of the banks is you don't cash the checks of people like that. They'd have to go to the check cashing place. But they didn't want to spend their money on the fees the check cashing place would cost. So as the manager, I overrode. First of all, before I did it, they were all dark-skinned brothers, and they saw I was light-skinned. And one of them said, oh, this light-skinned nigga ain't going to help us. But see, I understand where they're coming from. I understand. You understand? I know exactly what they feel. They're angry, you see, and they're angry because their skin has been a curse to them in this society. It's beautiful. The skin is beautiful. To me, there's no more beautiful skin than the one like that that shine like that. It's like gold, but it's been a curse to them. So they said, this light skinned nigga, he ain't gonna help us. And the other brother said, shh, like that. Told him, be quiet. And then I said to the tellers, I'll approve all the checks, cash all the checks. And the teller looked at me. I said, cash all the checks. Okay. And so, but I understand the anger that the brother felt. I totally understand. See, the Caucasian people are scared of it. They're scared of it because they know how these people have been treated. They understand. They know, but they want to act like they don't know. Oh, it wasn't me. Oh, it wasn't me. I didn't hate them like that. Oh, I don't see color. That's a lie. Unless you're colorblind. Everybody sees color. And it's them, as we talked about the other night, in the 16th century that made race an issue based on color. And now that the awakening is happening, they're trying to deny it. He that is just, let him be just still. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. This is about acknowledgement of truth. True repentance includes the acknowledgement of truth. True repentance. You understand? That's what this is about. Okay? That's really what it's about. And people that are honest with themselves know that. They know that. And those are the ones that are going to inhabit the kingdom. This is a war between the Father Yah and Asatan, his son. The Father made Asatan. You say, well, why did he make him? That's a question people ask. Why did he make him if he knew he was going to rebel and cause all this trouble? Because perfect righteousness demands that you love someone because you love them, not because you're forced to love them. So even though he knew that this being was going to turn on him, even though he knew what this dude was going to cause, he has to still create him because he has to give him the freedom to not love him if he doesn't want to. Okay, he has to give him the freedom to do that. And not only that, he has to give all the created beings of the universe the freedom to see for themselves and say, no, we don't want that. No, we don't want that. We don't want that among us anymore. And that's what's going on. That's the judgment upon Asatan and all his people. It's not just Yah arbitrarily saying, I'm going to destroy all of these people because of what they do, though he has a right to do that. It's all the universe saying, no, we don't want this. We don't want this. And that's why he places a mark in the foreheads of those that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Because the people that are on this planet that are seeing this suffering and speaking out and standing for the truth, they're the ones that are for the kingdom. Because they would appreciate the kingdom. You understand? They would appreciate. Versus those that try to keep their mouth shut and act like it's not as bad as we say it is. Not as dangerous as we say it is, because it's not dangerous for them. They're not sleeping near a garbage bin in Manila or sleeping in the street in a tent in Washington, D.C., or on a grate to keep warm, or in a tent city in South Los Angeles. They're not sleeping there, so it's not bad for them. But those that sigh and that cry and call to the Most High to end this thing as quickly as possible, those are his people. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the kingdom. Okay? So that's what we're talking about, truth. So now, all that in mind, we're in Revelation chapter 14. I want to show you something. I want to show you. See, I praise the Most High for his word, man. His word is as it says it is. It's quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, right? Quick and powerful and sharper. Let me show you a couple of scriptures from Isaiah before we go to Revelation 14 so that you can see where we're coming from here. First, let's go to Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah 26. Yep, there's another one I want in here too. There's two of them I want in Isaiah. One is 26 and one is... Oh, I'll find the other one, I guess, when it's time. But first, Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah chapter 26. But you know, I'm like a dog with a bone. I can't let it go. Isaiah chapter 26. I know where it is. Isaiah 26. Okay. Praise the Most High. Isaiah 26. I'm going to start at verse 1 and go from verse 1 down to verse 10 just to start us off in Isaiah 26. We're coming right back to Revelation chapter 14. I just wanted to give you all this little background before we hit Revelation 14, chapter 14, verse 12 and 13. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will Yah appoint for walls and bulwarks. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation, which keepeth the truth, may enter in. Wait, y'all hear that? It said, open the gates, that the righteous nation, which keepeth the truth, may enter in. See what I'm saying? This kingdom is about truth, man. It's about truth and righteousness and fairness. See? And there's nobody in the universe more true and righteous and fair than Most High Father Yah. There's nobody that's like him. And so he has a kingdom based in truth and righteousness, which is why the Most High Son said, well done. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Praise Yah. Okay, so here, verse 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Perfect peace. You understand? Now we're getting ready to read what we read last night. There is no peace. There is no peace to them that receive the mark or the number of his name. There's no peace, though they have their houses, they have their money, they have their lands, they can go to the store and buy food. They have no peace. You can only get peace. Peace is only available from the Father. Messiah, as Father's representative, is called the Prince of Peace. You know what that's saying? Father is the King of Peace. See, that's why I say Melchizedek. Melchizedek, Malak, that's what his name means. Melchizedek is Malak Asadak. That's two words put together to make Malak Asadak, Melchizedek. King of righteousness. And he was king of a territory that was called King of Shalom. So he's king of righteousness and king of peace. Somebody said, well, who was Melchizedek? That's the Father's spirit in human form. That's what that was. It wasn't Messiah, because it said he was made like unto the Son of Yah. It wasn't him, though. And the spirit is not an entity of itself. It's Father coming to Abraham in a form that he can only come to Abraham. He couldn't come to Abraham in his regular form like he did to Moses, because he told Moses, no man can look at me and live. So he brought his spirit and put it in a human form. And he called it King of Righteousness, King of Peace. Right? And then Messiah, being his son, would be a prince. Right? The son of the king is a prince. And he's called what? Prince of Peace. And so, as we serve Father in the name of Messiah and seek that righteousness and truth that could only come from the Father, and as we take a stand for the truth, all our friends and our family forsake us, but he gives us peace. And when it's time for this mark to be received and we lose all our stuff, we're going to go into the wilderness. Don't worry. And I mean that sincerely. You're going to be all right. Don't worry. See, it's like this is where he's telling you, I'm going to send you into mountains. I'm going to send you into deserts. I'm going to send you into jungles, and I'm going to protect you. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to walk through there with you. And like Job said, by his light, we walk through darkness. Right? And of course, we know the song. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? Right? Y'all know this one now. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. That's what's going to happen. This is real, man. This ain't no philosophy. This is real. It's real as you and me. It's coming. And we're being prepared for it so that we get to this point. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Verse 4. Trust thee. And this is interesting because it has Yahweh twice. The first time is in smaller bold letters, and the second time is very giant letters. So when you see that in the Bible, there's the Most High's prophet is being shown to place extra emphasis on this. For example, we know Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 6, his name shall be called Yahweh Sadak, Yahweh's righteousness, the Lord our righteousness. That's Messiah, Yahweh Sadak. Okay, here it says, ye trust ye in Yahweh forever. That's YHWH. And then for in Yahweh, Yahweh is like, this is his name. Yahweh, Yahweh is everlasting strength. Brethren, there is no power on this planet that can stop that. I'm trying to tell you. There is no army, there is no plane, there is no bomb, there is no gun, there is no heat-seeking device, there is no drone, there is no power to stop this. And he is placing, that is Yah, is placing a blessing on those of us that trust in him like that. Not in somebody's church. No. Not in somebody's man-made institution. No. No. Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Him alone. And through his Messiah. He set Messiah up. So when you trust in Messiah, you are trusting in the Father. The Father has given Messiah that authority. But Messiah has taught us. He said this, pray to your Father, and he will reward you openly. Go to your closet, and you shut your door. He said, pray to your Father in secret, and your Father that seeth in secret will reward you openly. So we pray to the Father in the name of Messiah. We give the Father and Messiah that honor when we do that, because we don't just pray to the Father without mentioning Messiah, because it's only because Father has set up Messiah as the high priest that we have any shot at all. That's the truth. Without Messiah, we would have no salvation. He sent him to be the deliverer, to deliver his children of Israel. Okay? See? Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. All right, so let's continue. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high. The lofty city, he layeth it low. He layeth it low even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor and the steps of the needy. Yes, all them people suffering. See, there's a lot of people, brethren. The word tells us, when you read Ezekiel 39, you will see it, that there's a lot of heathen that didn't understand any of this. They don't know, they barely know Christianity because of these Caucasian missionaries that came over there, right? And they're ignorant. Some places like in the mountains and hills and jungles of places like Burma and places like of the continent of Africa, different people in different places that never heard these things. And he's going to deliver them, because why? They're poor and needy and suffering. And then when they get to the kingdom, he's going to have us teach them. Yes, he's going to have us teach them. That's why you're going to have 144,000 that are going to be just like what? Levites. They're going to teach the people. They're going to teach them. The ones that's been oppressed and suffering. The little girl, 16 years old, didn't even know what a woman like, been raped and have a baby and sleeping by garbage. Come on now. Our Father's merciful, isn't he? He is. And so he's going to save them. Okay, let's keep going. Verse 7. The way of the just is uprightness. The way of the just is uprightness. Thou most upright doth weigh the path of the just. In the way of thy judgment, O Yahweh, have we waited for thee. Excuse me. The desire of our soul is to thy name and to the remembrance of thee. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, yes. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee, earth. And watch this. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Yes. Verse 10. This is why he cannot save people that are unrepentant. Verse 10. Let favor be showed to the wicked. Yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. That's why he cannot save unrepentant people. He cannot save people that are willfully ignorant. Because if he was to let them in the kingdom, this whole mess would start over again. It would start over again. And he says it's not going to rise up a second time. But there's a particular group of people we need to check out, because this is what we're talking about in Revelation chapter 14 in the beginning as we studying it today. First, let's skip down. Let's skip down to verse 19 and read verse 19, 20, and 21. Watch this. 19, 20, and 21. Thy dead men shall live, together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in the dust. That's the dead, right? Let's talk about resurrection. Okay? For thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. There's some people, this is talking about the grave, and there's some people that are going to be in the graves that are going to be resurrected, and the Most High allowed them to die, sometimes very early in their life, in order to save them, and so that they don't have to go through what's getting ready to come upon this planet. Which tells you about what's getting ready to come upon this planet, right? So there's people that we're seeing right now in their 40s or 30s, sometimes teenagers, and they're dying unfortunate deaths, right? heart attacks sometimes, COVID, if they claim to, or whatever. And he allows it because he's going to save them. See, it's about the sincerity and of the heart. It really is. It really comes down to that. That's why it says he knows those. He knows those that are the upright. You see, it says, where is it? It says, we just read it. Where is it there? Where is it? Okay. The way of the just is uprightness, and thou most upright dost weigh the path of the just. He knows people that are just ignorant, and they're sincere. If they were to be able to get this truth and this plainness, they would receive it. But on this planet that's filled with lies, they never got it. But he knows who they are. Okay, he knows who they are, and he's going to save them. There's billions of people on the planet that have no clue about what I'm saying right now. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they're raised in societies and in cultures and in situations where they would never get the opportunity. Some of them he's going to allow to put to rest so he could save them. All of them have this in common, though. They're oppressed and poor. They're oppressed and poor. And they're among class of people that are exploited, right? They're exploited by this system. And that when you understand that, you see what makes this so powerful, that our Most High is merciful on the real. Okay, more merciful than any of the gods of these other countries that talk about there's no law, have their own situations, or have their own gods, or the Mormons or the SDAs with their white people. Man, this is the truth. Okay, this is the truth from the word of the Most High. For behold, Yahweh, verse 21, Yahweh cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. That's the second resurrection. You got two resurrections. Look at this. Watch this. I was telling you there were two places in Isaiah. I'm going to show you the second place. Isaiah chapter 57. Isaiah 57. Beginning at verse 1. Isaiah 57, beginning at verse 1. Notice what it says here. The righteous perisheth, and no man layeth it to heart. And merciful men are taken away, none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. He shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. See? The other day, I saw a sad situation. Young man looked like he was in his 30s, mid-30s, had a wife and like 2 or 3 kids, and he was a truck driver. And came home, was working overtime, trying to provide for his woman and his kids. Came home and was with his wife, and they came out to watch TV. And he said he felt like he had some indigestion, and she went to go get him some medicine. And he put his head back and died of a heart attack. They didn't have any life insurance. They didn't have anything, they had a little savings that he was trying to scrape together for them. And, she just had a hard time understanding why was he allowed to die like that so young? And it would be hard to understand. He loved his wife. They showed little videos of him sending his wife every day, I love you, honey, and I'm on the road and I'm all right. But sometimes the righteous perish, and no man layeth it to heart. The men are taken away, none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. The Most High sometimes allows these unfortunate incidents on planet Earth because he's planning on bringing that brother into eternal existence. And when he raises him up, it's going to all be understood at that time. Okay? Because this is the end. This earth is not going to be flowing for many more years. It's not. And so you're going to see people that's put to sleep. Okay? You're going to see people put to sleep. You're going to see people that say, man, why are you so young? Why did this happen like that? Sometimes the Most High allows it because he's going to plan on resurrecting them in the first resurrection with the righteous. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. Praise the Most High. So I brought all that out so that now when we go to Revelation chapter 14, we can understand what we're reading. Revelation 14. Let's look at verse 13. Revelation 14 and verse 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in Yahweh from henceforth. Yea, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. The Most High is I can't express to y'all. I can't. How righteous and merciful our God is. That he would do stuff like this to save people. See, we think, and naturally so, people that are young should live, right? They should have a chance, right, to have families, to live their life, right? But our God knows we're thinking in human terms. He's thinking in eternal terms. I liken it like this. We're thinking checkers. He's thinking chess. You understand what I'm saying? We're thinking checkers. He's thinking chess. See? So he's thinking multiple steps ahead of us. And so he'll allow it, but he's in his word, he's letting us know. He's letting us know what he's doing. He's not hiding from us what he's doing. But because of how we think, of how this society is, we have a hard time understanding it because everything we are looking at is based on lies and deception. Okay? Everything we see is based on lies and deception. Nothing is as it seems. Well, especially whenever you hear, it kills me when I hear a newscast, MSNBC is good for this, as if they're so innocent and they're just trying to help people. And they are the most diabolical, man. I mean, Fox News is just as bad. They're one from the right and one from the left. They're both exploiting all of us. They're exploiting us and trying to manipulate our minds. Okay, CNN, same thing. And so when they come out and they're trying to give you this report, whatever report, oh, this is happening and this is evil, blah, blah, blah. They're always exploiting you. If you're a true Hebrew, they're trying to down you. They're trying to say, it's okay, if you're a man and you like to have some man's penis in your behind, I'll put you on TV and make you the example of all black men. It's okay if you were born with a penis and you want it cut off so you can become trans. It's okay. We'll put you on TV and make you an example of all the Hebrews so they can all see this is fine. Nah. Brethren. Forget all that. Follow this book. It'll keep you, no pun intended, it'll keep you straight. No pun intended. Again, I want to, for all the homosexuals out there that are listening to this, I want y'all to know the Most High does love you. He does. And your tendencies that you were born with to gravitate toward the same sex, it's the same as any other tendency somebody might have that leads them to sin. So somebody might ask, what am I supposed to do about it? You're supposed to be a eunuch for the kingdom. What does that mean? Eunuch don't mean that you necessarily have some operation and have your gonads cut off. Eunuch means you forsake sex because you'd rather not have sex than have perverted sex. That's what that means. And the Most High give us an example. I'm not saying the Apostle Paul was a homosexual, but he never got married. I'm just saying that. The Messiah definitely wasn't a homosexual, and he never married any woman. Never had sex with nobody. Neither did the Apostle Paul. Okay? Why? For the kingdom's sake. So you got examples. Okay? You got examples. While you might be drawn to the same sex, you're a woman and you got manly tendencies, or you're a man and you got effeminate tendencies, that might happen for sure. And I don't care what people say. Not everybody just chooses to be that way. People are born with those tendencies, but you have to choose to have perverted sex. You have to choose sodomy. You have to choose that. Okay? Or you can choose not to. That's the truth about it. See, we're in the truth right here. We're in the truth. The truth will set you free. That is a right statement. The truth will set you free. And that's the truth. We're not arguing whether people are born with these tendencies. There are people born with these tendencies. Then there are those that get turned out. And y'all know what I'm talking about. There are those that were not born with these tendencies, but somebody raped them and messed their head up. And they know who they are. The ones, the rapists and the victims. But the Most High has an answer for you. Forget sex. I don't care what this world said, man. Not everybody is born to have sex. Not everybody is born for that. We're in the last days. Admit your situation and your problem to your Father. He could deal with it. Become a eunuch for the kingdom. That's period. Become a eunuch. You ain't got to cut off your private parts, take away your manhood. And if you're a woman, you ain't got to strap nothing on yourself to act like you a man. You ain't got to do that. You can choose your Father. When we get to the kingdom, everybody's mind will be made right. Everybody's body will be made right. We get new bodies. Everything will be in harmony the way the Most High created it. We're not there right now. This is a perverted earth in which we live. And so, unfortunately, you get people that are born blind, people that are born deaf, people that are born missing limbs, and some people born with tendencies in their spirit that's not natural. It happens. But don't let this earth with its lies tell you that that's normal. It's not normal. It's not accepted by the Father. It's not. Okay? You can choose who you have sex with. You could choose that. You can choose not to have sex. You could choose that too. And that's why Messiah said there's some that's given that ability. He said, to whom it is given, whoever hears it, let him hear it. Whoever can receive it, let him receive it. There are some that are given that blessing because of that situation. There's no problem you admitting, yeah, I'm drawn to men, or women, I'm drawn to women. You can admit that. There's no problem. See, Christianity you don't even acknowledge that. No, you got to acknowledge what you are, but at the same time, you got to acknowledge how your Father feels about it, and you got to acknowledge what you need to do. You need to become a eunuch. Don't have sex with anyone. Don't. Rather than have perverted sex, leave it alone. That's what he means when he say cut off your hand if it offends you, or your foot. He's not literally telling you to cut off your limbs, but he's telling you shut that part down. That's not for you. I'm just trying to be real with y'all. That's not for you. Okay. He loves every person that he's trying to save. That's the whole purpose. But you got to come to truth. It's not about you being saved as a homosexual. He wants you to come to the truth. He wants you to come to the truth. All right. This world is filled with lies and perversions. Everything is lies, perversions, man. The only thing straight is this word right here. That's the only thing. The only thing. And that's because it's his word. Okay. In Revelation chapter 14, blessed are the dead that die in Yahweh from his. Yeah. So he's going to allow some people to be put to death to save them. Accident, heart attack, murder. The other day, my sister's brother coming home like he normally would come home. Crazy young man came and just murdered him. Just murdered him. Trying to get to his daughter. That's it. The Most High allowed that though, because he's planning on bringing that brother back. See, Satan is a murderer. He's a bloodthirsty murderer. Satan is. He's a bloodthirsty murderer. So if given any opportunity to murder someone, he will do it. Especially someone that he knows the Most High loves. He will do it in a minute. Okay? So sometimes the Most High allows it to save him. My sister knows. She knows. She knows. But it's hard, but it's true though. Blessed are the dead which die in Yahweh from henceforth. Yea, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow. He's merciful. He counts that as righteousness. He counted Abraham's faith in him as righteousness. That's called justification by faith. He counted Abraham's trust in him as righteousness. And he's not just Abraham. It's anyone who also, like Abraham, is looking for truth and wanting to follow the truth. Okay. Now that we got that part, now it's this last part. Watch what it says here. Now, all right, let's read. I'm gonna come back and we have to go through some Isaiah. Okay, we have to go back to Isaiah again. Because Isaiah speaks a lot, as we see when we read this section right here. We spend a lot of time in Isaiah today because Isaiah speaks a lot about this section. There are some sections is Ezekiel, like we read earlier from Revelation 22. It's like Ezekiel, that's Ezekiel speaking. Some sections is Isaiah. Some sections is both of them, and Jeremiah and Zechariah too. Okay, as we're going to see that as well. But notice what it says here. Revelation chapter 14, verse 15. And another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me start at verse 14. Can't miss verse 14. Let me start at verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud. And upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Obvious imagery right here. So Father is sending back Messiah as king of this earth. It's not the only place you're going to see this in Revelation. And he has a sharp sickle in his hand. You compare that to Revelation chapter 19. Revelation chapter 19. It says in Revelation 19, beginning at verse 11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him is called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name knew that no man knew but he himself. He had a name written, that no man knew but he himself. So it's the same imagery. It's the return of Messiah, but this is giving you a different angle on it. As Revelation 19 is going to give you a different angle on it, as it's going to show the battle between the Messiah and the peoples of this earth. The people of this earth, this is first resurrection stuff. So we talk about people that are alive right now. The leaders of this planet are going to come together to try to fight against the Messiah and us. They're going to do that. That's what the Bible is describing here. So it's giving you different angles of that battle. And this is what's going on right here. In this angle, he's saying he has a sharp sickle in his hand. Watch. Revelation chapter 14. In his hand, a sharp sickle. Verse 15. Another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. Okay, so he's reaping the souls of those who are his, those that are sealed in the truth, those that have died sealed in righteousness, that he's resurrecting now, and he's collecting the harvest. These represent all of those written in the seven sealed book. The seven seals, that's a book. Okay, and he's unsealing the seven seals, and when he's finished, the book is open, and what's represented are the citizens of the kingdom. The citizens, the final number. He's reaping that harvest. Okay. Verse 16. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. That's what we call in the parable of the wheat and the tares. It's the wheat. That's why he has a sickle, right? He's reaping the wheat. Right? So that's what he's doing first. Now, we're going to go into more detail on this in Revelation chapter 15 and in Revelation chapter 19. But he's reaping the wheat right here. Okay? So all of those that, like that young man that died of a heart attack on his couch right next to his wife, age 35, or another brother that die in his truck behind the wheel of a heart attack, or brothers that gets choked in the street to death, or are jogging and get shot to death, or are sleeping in their apartment and a cop comes in saying, I got the wrong apartment, and shoots them to death, or little Filipino girls that's been raped and been left with babies on the street, or people in Burma that live in the hills and mountains, or people in Africa that live in the hills and mountains, and all the 144,000 and those that are following them of the true nation of Israel. Man, that's going to be a happy day. Can you imagine all the people that have suffered oppression, all the people that have suffered and not control? You can't control what you're born. See, you and I could have been born. We could have been born in the Philippines in some hellhole in Manila. We could have ended up like that, but we weren't born there. You could have been born in Honduras or El Salvador, where there's drug kingpins raping kids and women, and then people running out of there trying to get to the border only to be placed in cages. You could have been born there, but you weren't. You can't control where you're born or where you're subjected to. But those of us that are fortunate enough not to have been born in those situations should be sighing and crying for those people. We should be sighing and crying for our Father to put an end to this system, to this age. We should be sighing and crying to see Messiah come with that sickle yesterday. That's why at the end of this book of Revelation, you hear the prophet say, you read, he say, even so. Why does he say, even so? Come, and it says Lord Jesus, but it's really Yahushua. Come, Master Yahushua. Why is he saying even so? Because he's saying, even if it's inconvenient for me, even if I have to suffer, even if everything I want has to be destroyed, even so, even if I'm not saved myself in this thing, put an end to it quickly. Even so. And that's the feeling of those that are the real citizens of the kingdom. The real citizens of the kingdom. You get, this has got to end. This got to stop. Do you know in North Carolina, they got pig farms? Pig farms. And the pigs are stayed in these closed up places, and it stinks so bad that it contaminates the water of the people that live around it. And you got poor people that live in trailers trying to get a job there in them farms because that's the only place they could get a job. And the conditions are horrible. This is in the United States. And you got people that come up from Mexico to work in fields for a few pennies, dollars, just for the opportunity. Brethren, this has got to stop. This got to be brought to an end. This whole thing, this whole system, where you got billionaires sitting in ivory towers, lorded over everybody. You got politicians that are crooked, that are getting paid for this suffering. You got media that's putting all these pictures out of lies to us. Brethren, this has got to end. It's got to stop. And all he's asking for us to do is sigh and cry to him for this to end today. Okay? And so, this is going to be a wonderful day when he reaps the harvest of all those that have been oppressed, those suffering ones, those that have stood for truth and righteousness. When we stand on that sea of glass, brethren, it's going to be, and you know, praise y'all, it is perfect that we're doing it in the Feast of Tabernacles. That is so ideally perfect. It's a feast. We are being resurrected and brought to the kingdom, and the first experience is a feast. The first experience. Man, all debts are paid. Beautiful, right? Yeah, man. But there's another part. Here's the second part. Verse 17. And another angel came out of the temple, which is in heaven. He also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth. Watch this now. And gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Yah. And the winepress was trodden without the city. What city? New Jerusalem. The winepress, the wicked are destroyed outside the city. As we saw also Revelation chapter 20, we saw them try to surround the city to take it. We saw Ezekiel 38 and 39. That's a continual theme because wicked is going to try to take Yah's people and the city where the tree of life is. So they'll be destroyed outside the city. They will not get inside because no liar is getting into the city. Okay. The winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even to the horses' bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Winepress, that's a place where grapes are crushed to make wine. So he's saying, I'm going to crush these people. But he's even more specific than that of where he's going to begin this crushing process. Now we got to go to Isaiah again. Isaiah chapter 60. We got to go Isaiah chapter, actually 63. Isaiah 63. We got to go there. Isaiah 63. This is truth. I'm just reading the word. Don't blame me for what it says. Okay? I'm telling you as we read this. This is where he starts. Isaiah chapter 63, beginning at verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments of Bozrah? So he's talking about Edomites. Now, some people get confused, and I understand it. Some people will say that all Caucasian people are Edomites. That is not true. All right. Why do I say it's not true? Reason is, if you know who Edom was originally, that's Esau. Esau is a Semite, right? Esau is a Semite. He is the son of Isaac. He's not the chosen seed, but he's the son of Isaac. He's a Semite, right? He's actually a Semite, and he's actually a Hebrew, because that's the line. He's not an Israelite because his brother is where the Israelites come from, but he's a Semite. So Edom is not all Caucasian people. Caucasian people come from what we saw in Genesis chapter 10. They come from Japhet. Okay, that's where you come from. The Europeans come from Japhet's seed. That's Japhet's seed. So why do we see, and I'm gonna tell you right now, ahead of time, who the Edomites are. Well, no, I'm gonna let the word tell you who the Edomites are. So the Edomite people are people who are, wait. There are people who, let's start at Noah's prophecy. We're going to have to come back to this after the break, but I'm going to start it now. Let's look at Noah's prophecy in Genesis chapter 9. Genesis chapter 9, beginning at verse 24. Genesis 9:24. We're talking about Edom right now. It's very important that we know who Edom is because of what's getting ready to happen to them. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, blessed be the Most High Yahweh of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So he put a blessing on Shem and a curse on Canaan, not on all Ham, on Canaan. Some of the Caucasians made this to seek like all black people were cursed because of this. That is a lie. It was just Canaan, which is why that land was taken and given to the Israelite people. But he cursed Canaan, he blessed Shem. Okay. And Yah shall enlarge Japhet, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Yah shall enlarge Japhet. Now that's dual meaning. If you look it up in the Hebrew, it means to make expansive, right? Or dominant. Japhet becoming dominant. Is that happen? Yes. It also means to entice. He shall entice. Why? He's trying to dwell in the tents of Shem. So the Edomites today are Japheth's children that try to take the place of Shem's children. Now, what situation do we have in the planet today where Japheth's children are trying to replace Shem's children? What situation do we have? Let's let the Bible show us. Ezekiel, back to Ezekiel chapter 36. Ezekiel chapter 36. And you tell me who this is. Ezekiel 36, beginning at verse 5. Ezekiel 36, beginning at verse 5. You tell me who this is. Now that we know they're trying to dwell in the tents of Shem, but they're really Japheth's children. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Edomia. Now, just to let you know, Edomia is another name for Edom. That's another name for Edom, okay? Edomia, which have appointed my land unto their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. They appointed Yah's land for their possession, Edomia. They're trying to dwell in the tents of Shem. Who is that? Let's read a little further. Prophecy, therefore, concerning the land of Israel, and say to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore, thus saith Most High Yahweh, I have lifted up my hand, and surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. Wait, that's not all. Not by a long sight. There's more. Let's look at another prophet, Obadiah, a very unknown prophet, one that they call minor prophets, one of them prophets that people don't pay no attention to. Yet it speaks very much about what I'm talking about right now. Obadiah. Obadiah. The New York Knicks just drafted a young boy. They call him Obi. You know, Obi is short for Obadiah. Bet your dad didn't know that. That means worshiper of the Most High, worshiper of Yahweh. Okay. Let's see now. Verse 1. We're talking about Edom. Verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh concerning Edom. Concerning who? Concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small, talking about Edom. I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So let's talk about what we've seen so far from Edom. The Japhet is going to try to dwell in the tents of Shem. Edom is going to take Yah's people's land. Edom is despised even among the heathen, and they're small in number among the heathen. Who are these people? Let's continue. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised. Verse 3. The pride of thy heart shall have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. They're in high places of the earth. High places. We don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in high places. So Edom takes Yah's people's land. They try to dwell in the tents of Shem, and they are in high places. They're small in number on the earth, and they're greatly despised even among the heathen. How many people fit that description? I love the way the Bible does this. You see how it does it? It gives you all the hallmarks of who they're talking about, and then there's only one people that fits the description of. When you look out at the landscape of the earth, ain't but one people that fit that description. You understand? Now, I want to also preface this by saying, and I want to remind y'all, even among the Edomites, there are going to be some people saved. Because you know what? Now we can't just say all Edomites are going to be lost. Amos tells us in Amos chapter 9, there's going to be some Edomites, a remnant of them also, that's going to be saved. Okay? There's going to be a remnant because not all of the people, again, you can't control where you're born. Just remember that, brethren. You cannot control where you're born, who your parents are, or what they believe. You can't control that, but you can control your stance for what the truth is. You can control it. You can decide to follow truth. Okay? And that's righteous. You can decide to follow truth. So even among the Edomites, there's going to be a remnant of them that come to this truth. Now, again, a large majority of them is not. I want to be clear. Most of them are going to be destroyed. But there's going to be a remnant of them because most of all of us really are going to be destroyed. 2/3 of the Hebrews are going to be destroyed. 5/6 of Japheth's children are going to be destroyed. And of course, most of the Edomites are going to be destroyed too because this earth is filled with lies. Okay, but among the oppressed, among the poor, among the suffering, among the exploited, among the homeless, rejoice. Your redemption draweth nigh. There's going to be a new kingdom among the Israelites, the true Israelites. Praise Most High. So now that we understand who Edom is, today we call them Ashkenazi Jews, Israelis. That's Edom. Okay. And Edom is working with the whore. All nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication and have committed fornication with her. They're working very close with the whore. Okay. Working very closely. They're despised among the heathen even. They're in high places. They stay on land that don't belong to them. The Bible has laid it out for us. Okay. It's laid it out for us. Now, let's go back to Isaiah 63. Well, I'm going to wait till that. I'm going to come back to that. I wanted to give you y'all heard though. Y'all got right now. You understand who Edom is. So not all Caucasian people are Edom. Only those that are making this claim that they are actually Israel. Those are your Edomites. Those that are receiving this Judaism religion, this Talmudic religion, are your Edomites. That's Edom right there. Okay. Not all Caucasian people are Edom. That's I want, trying to make sure we understand that. Some people, they just blanketly say say, oh, the white man is Edom. No, not all of them. They're Japhet now. They come from Europe. Okay, that's the motherland is where they Russia. That's their motherland. Just like for a lot of people of color, Africa is the motherland. For them, Russia's the motherland. That's where they come from. They're Germanic tribes. That's where they come from. And you can't control where you come from, like I said, but you can control where you stand for truth or not. You can control that. That's your choice. Nobody could take that from you. All right. So, okay, this is what I love about the gospel, the true gospel of Messiah, the true gospel. The Father's righteousness is revealed. It is power that he gives to every human being to choose to receive the truth of Father's righteousness through Messiah, the Hebrew Messiah, so that Father's righteousness is revealed. Father's righteousness is revealed in obedience to him, which we get by his Spirit. It's obedience to him that reveals his righteousness. Blessed are they that do his commandments, right? That they may have right to the tree of life and enter in through the gates into the city. Blessed are they that do his commandments. You can only do his commandments when you are receiving his spirit of perfect righteousness and truth. And you cannot receive that when you're embracing lies purposely, when you try to be willfully ignorant, act like you don't know when you really do know. And the Most High knows every heart. He knows those that are faking the funk. He knows those that are front very well. I would say I feel bad for them, but I don't. If you're going to fake and act like you don't know when you really do, you deserve what you got coming to you. You really do. That's why the Bible say how, we reject so great a salvation. That's what he said. There'll be no mercy for those that reject so great a salvation. And that's people that are just being willfully ignorant. You can hide your head all up in your behind. It's not going to save you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you in the day of judgment. You're still going to be facing that judgment. Okay? So we'll come back It's now 12:41 Eastern Daylight Time in Washington, D.C., which means all East Coast, New York, all the way down to Miami is 12:41. It's 12:41 in Ecuador, 12:41 in Colombia, 12:41 in Panama, Central America, and Jamaica and Puerto Rico is 12:41. And it's also 12:41 in Malaysia, but it's 12:41 a.m. in Malaysia. It's 12:41 Sunday morning, actually, in Asia, 12:41 in Asia, over there in Kuala Lumpur, in the Philippines, over there in Vietnam, over there in Da Nang, over there in Thailand, in Bangkok, it's 12:41. So we're the 12-hour difference. So that's where time it is. We'll come back here about 1:15 by the grace of the Most High and continue with this here. We're going to start at chapter 63, what's going to happen with Edom, how Father and Messiah feel about what they've been doing. And then we're going to continue by the grace of the Most High in chapter 15 of the book of Revelation. We're going to go back there too. Until then, may the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace and rest. Shalom.